Welcome to Topper Talk, your number one Western Kentucky athletics podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Moffitt, and I'm joined by co-host Tyler Bailey. Hilltopper Nation, whether it's happening on the hill or on the road, grab those red towels, stand up and cheer, because it's up next on Topper Talk. Welcome back, and thank you for downloading and listening to another episode. As always, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Topper_Talk, and head on over to our YouTube channel at Topper Talk Podcast. Give us a subscribe there. Check out all the old video episodes, and also get notified whenever we put up something new there. Share those links. Tell a friend. Share with your Hilltopper family and friends. We're growing rapidly, and we want as many people to have access to our content as possible. As always, I've got Tyler here, man. We're about to jump into a really fun recap. Tyler, you ready to jump in?
Yes, I am, boy. Let's get to it.
Before we do that, this podcast is sponsored by the Fireman Moving Company. The Fireman Moving Company is the official moving company of WKU Athletics. Not only can they be trusted to move all the coaches in and out of Western, but they can move you anywhere nationwide. The Fireman Moving Company is owned and operated by firemen and is founded by WKU alumni. If you are looking to move anytime soon, give them a call at 270-791-1755 and get yourself a free quote. Exactly. Put all the fireworks. If you're watching on video, we got some special effects going over there with Tyler. But yeah, man, definitely give the firemen movers a call. Any move, big, small, local, long distance. Actually had a friend, a family member, moving some stuff out of the house. I think about to give him a call. I need some stuff moved out. We're trying to clean this house out before we sell it. So definitely need to get a call to them and get a quote, because they're going to come through and help us out. I know they will. Now, before we jump into the main segment, recapping our victory over UTEP, let's first dive into the Red Towel wrap-up and catch up on everything we've missed since our last recording. Tyler, hit us with that Red Towel wrap-up.
All right, so a little bit of sad news to begin the Red Towel wrap-up. WKU soccer fell to La Tech in the opening round of the Conference USA Soccer Championship by a score of 1-0. A little bit on the brighter side, WKU volleyball clinched their 9th regular season title in the last 10 seasons by beating FIU twice this last weekend. They won 3-1 on Friday and clinched the title outright by winning 3-0 on Saturday, which a regular season, I think their overall record's 14-4. Their conference record is 14-0. So them girls keep on doing work. Logan Grevengood was named Conference USA Defensive Player of the Week, and Izzy Vanderwild was named Conference USA Freshman Offensive Player of the Week after their performances. WKU tennis competed in the Rice Invitational over the weekend and had a solid showing, led by Rachel Hermanova. Sorry about that. The Lady Toppers basketball team beat Mercer 70-64 in the first half of the Monday doubleheader. Teresa Fastino was our leading scorer with 15 points and also added 4 steals and 3 rebounds. And men's basketball hosted Kentucky Wesleyan on Monday night, which was tonight, and we won 90-64. WKU was led by Brandon Newman with 14 points, and Baba Carfay, who was a surprising. We'll leave it at that for right now. Had a double with 12 points and 10 rebounds. So that wraps up the Red Towel wrap up. Moff, back to you.
Yeah, always good to see the Hudson dynasty just continuing to win over there. Volleyball getting rings, death taxes, and Travis Hudson winning conference championships. That's what he does. Basketball, has kicked off. The ladies and the men's had a doubleheader today. Both won. Really good and fun games. I think we'll probably be talking more about basketball here really soon. But now we're going to dive into our main segment, which is our recap of the WKU football game versus UTEP. We went down to El Paso and we beat UTEP 21-13 in front of an announced crowd of 11,111 people. Once again, we saw a game that was really a tale of two halves, but this time it was our first half where WKU had difficulties putting points on the board. We did not score in the first half. We went into halftime trailing 3-0. We only had 65 yards of total offense and 3 first downs in the first half. Austin Reed was 2 out of 10 passing for 13 yards in that first half. And just honestly, it was a hard first half to watch. It was hard to digest. It was not fun. Did not leave me, with positive thoughts about how this game was going to end. But ultimately, we were able to overcome that and outscore UTEP 21-10 in the second half to secure the 21-13 victory, which now moves us to 5-4 on the season. Obviously, we're one win closer to bowl eligibility, and we're still in the driver's seat to potentially getting to that Conference USA championship game rematch with Liberty. We control our fate. If we win the games that are ahead of us, that's where we're going to be. We're going to get that rematch and see if we can have a better showing than what we had here in Bowling Green. So, Tyler, I guess jump in. Before we jump into the offensive and defensive players and their performances this game, just how was this game from your perspective? What did you see and take away from it?
Well, in the first half was ugly as sin. 3 first downs, 13 yards by Austin Reed in the first half. Was only 2 completions. Didn't have a very cherry outlook on this. I thought it was going to be ugly. But then the second half came around. The defense, did what they did. They gave up some yards, but the offense found a way, and I'll get into that later on the grades. But no, I mean, it wasn't pretty. There wasn't nothing good about it, other than we'll talk about it here in a few seconds. And if that was 11,000 people, I'm a brain surgeon, and I can tell you one thing: I am not a dang brain surgeon.
Yeah, death taxes and Conference USA schools inflating their attendance numbers. Add that one to the list. Now, offensively, WKU was led by running back Elijah Young. He had 12 carries for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns on the game. It was really awesome to see another breakout performance by him. And he really just seems to be getting better and better and better and better as the season progresses. Austin Reed did finish the game 11 out of 20 for 102 yards with 1 touchdown and 1 interception. So after that 2 out of 10 start, he did go 9 for 10 in the second half. Though only 102 yards and 1 touchdown is not a very Austin Reed like game. It wasn't clicking. It wasn't coming together. I guess luckily Elijah Young and our defense kind of bailed us out and put us in position to win this game. We only had 4 pass catchers in the game. LT Sanders was our leading receiver in terms of yards. He had 36 yards on 2 catches. Malachi Corley was our leading receiver with 4 catches, but he only had 10 yards on the game. So, Tyler, what's your takeaway from the offense in this game?
Well, I'm glad Elijah Young was like my granddad's old bird dog. Whenever we in a few days of quail season, we'd go hunting. He was just pulling at them chains. That was my MVT. I think I'm going to continue riding with him. The boy was awesome. It was great. It was a breath of fresh air to see the run game, pick up like we've kind of been wanting it to. Dalvin Smith had 3 catches for 23 yards. Marquis Stepp had 3 carries for 4 yards. I was expecting a little bit more out of him, but the game, you had to take what the game gives you. I was real surprised with only 4, receivers though catching the ball. I guess that kind of I was shook, if you would. But I mean, hey, we ended up getting the win. LT Sanders, 4 rushes, 10 yards, 2 receptions, 36 yards. Leading receiver. I don't think that's good when your leading receiver is your running back, but I'll take it because we end up getting the win. But this is one that I'm sure Austin Reed's going to want to forget coming up in the next few weeks.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't our. I don't want to say our typical offensive showing, but it wasn't. We normally don't win the game by being a strong running team, but it was nice to see that we could do that, and maybe that becomes a stronger theme towards the end of the season. The passing game should be there. We have a good quarterback. We have quality wide receivers. We should be able to spread the ball around. But if for some reason that's not happening, if it's being limited or shut down, or if it's just not clicking, it's nice to know we've got a trio of backs back there that we can hand the ball off to. And Elijah Young has really started to separate himself from the pack in my eyes over the last several weeks. Really since the MTSU game, when he hit that impressive hurdle and touchdown. He's really stepped up and opened my eyes and maybe go, wow, this guy, he's good. He's solid. And we hope he gets more carries. It was a little head scratching. He'd have a really strong drive, lead us down the field. And then the next drive, he wouldn't even be on the field. We'd have, we'd have Step In or LT or Davion Poindexter. And nothing against those guys, but I think you should ride the hot hand and give the ball to the belly of the guy that's eating. And Elijah was eating, but that's neither here nor there. We ultimately won the game. Let the coaches make those decisions. The fans, we can pick them apart if we want. Now, defensively, WKU was led by defensive back to Colby Williams. He had 12 tackles, including 6 solo and 1 tackle for loss. Desmond Baker also added 9 tackles, including 1.5 tackles for loss. Sebastian Benjamin had 1.5 sacks, and Davion Williams added an interception in this game. WKU did hold UTEP to only 13 points to get this victory. But as we dive into the key indicators here shortly, I think it's going to sound a little surprising that we did come away with the victory. That was ultimately, first half was ugly, but second half was never kind of in question once we took that lead. So it's really surprising that we won the game, especially when you start to dive into these stats. So Tyler, what's your takeaway from this WKU defense and this victory versus UTEP?
Well, the defense does what they do. They got back there. I was hoping for more pressure on their quarterbacks and maybe more interceptions because he wasn't very accurate. Hosea Wheeler had 3 total tackles, 1 solo, and a half tackle for loss. Kendrick Simpkins also had 3 total tackles, a half a sack, and 1 tackle for loss. Deontay McCray had 5 total tackles, 2 solos, and 1 tackle for loss. And Virgil Marshall had 5 total tackles and 4 solo. They did give up 300 and I think 68 yards. So yeah, we were out. We're going to talk about it later, but we were outgained in total yards, first downs. We'll talk about that in a second. I was very surprised that we did come away with this win. Well, I guess I'm not surprised. I was very happy we came away with the win, but the way that the numbers we're about to talk about, yeah, it was kind of surprising that we did, considering the offensive production we did. Our defense really stepped up in this one.
Yeah, now jumping into those, the key indicators, like we talked about, UTEP did outgain WKU 368 yards to 280, so substantially outgained us. UTEP had 19 first downs in the game to only 11 for WKU. WKU was 4 out of 11 on third down, but we were 2 out of 2 on fourth down. So 6 out of 11 possessions, basically, we were able to convert and continue to drive. I think that really was kind of a big thing that kind of won this game, in my opinion. Over 50% on that third and fourth down mixture there. UTEP was 3 out of 13 on third down and 2 out of 4 on fourth down. And then turnovers were chalk. We both had 1 interception apiece. Time of possession, UTEP had the ball for 33 minutes and 10 seconds. WKU had the ball for 26 minutes and 50 seconds. So, just combing over all that. I mean, they outgained us, out first downed us. The only thing we really won was the third down battle there. Stayed on the field, continued drives, which is always kind of week to week is one of our keys to victory. And when it turned into this WKU offense that had to be able to run the ball because we weren't passing the ball very well, it basically might have been what won this game for us. Not, to mention the bend but don't break defense. The defense gave up some yards, 368, well below our season average, more than we gained, obviously, but it was very bend don't break. We held them to 13 points, so it's hard to be mad at this overall performance. It really just feels like the offense, the passing game, especially that first half, we just didn't put it together for whatever reason. And then Elijah Young, really just kind of put us on his back in the second half and basically just rushed us to a victory, that we definitely needed. Let's jump into some grades for this game. Tyler, what's your grade for the offense?
Well, I tweeted this out, but if you was going to tell me that Austin Reed was only going to throw for 102 yards a game and we would win, um, I would I would have called you crazy, and I wouldn't have believed you. But hey, we did it. Run game kept us on the scoreboard, and we got the win. It's not in the typical WKU fashion, but I'll give the offense a minus because of the pass game.
I'm going to go with a B, a little bit lower. I mean, that first half being basically a goose egg, 65 yards. Austin Reed 2 out of 10. 101, 100 some odd yards passing. Um, Very substandard, subpar for me for the passing department. Now, luckily, the rushing pushed us over the edge and led us to victory. But I don't mind to see a good running offense, but we have to be able to sprinkle in both. If we're a good passing team, we have to have the threat of running. For a good running team, we have to have the threat of passing. So, I want to see both click. We've seen both click at different points of the season. We've seen good halves of football. We've seen bad halves of football. And this was kind of that same mixed bag of the passing game wasn't working, but the running game really was. First half, we scored 0. Second half, we come out. Austin Reed's 9 out of 10. Has most of his passing yards. Elijah Young has 2 rushing touchdowns in the second half, leads us to victory. So I'm going to give him a B, which is still good. You still got a victory. You did what it takes. But I just need to see more consistency from both passing and running and both halves of the game. What about the defense? What's your grade?
Well, the defense, we did give up, like I said earlier, 368 yards with 214 coming through the air and 154 on the ground, which I believe are both below the season average, especially the rushing yardage we gave. Um, and we did hold UTEP 13 points, got 1 interception with what was it, 3 sacks. I'm gonna give him an A for this game. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, 368 yards is well below our season average. I think it was 480 and some change coming into this game. So we did our thing. They had more yards passing than us. They almost had as many yards rushing as us. But we only gave up 13 points, and that's going to win a lot of ball games. A lot of times we talk about our offense has to score 30 points to be in contention to win ball games. But if your defense is holding people to 13 points, you're still going to be in contention to win a lot of ball games. So I think the defense has really been in, I guess I don't want to say an undervalued part of this season, but they've kept us in a lot of ball games, even though they've given up yards. Close to 500 a game. They've faced some tough running offenses that have really tested them. And we've said, 5, 8, 9, 10 times on this podcast how young we are on defense and now how injured we are on defense. And they just still keep stepping up, new players, next man up, and they keep making plays. And 13 points on the road at UTEP is a solid showing. Can't complain with that. They definitely earned an A in this ball game. What about special teams? What you got?
Well, Lucas Canario, 3-on-3 for extra points, and old Tom Ellard had to get out there and punt 5 times for 206 yards and an average of 41.2 yards with a long of 60 and one within the 20. So death, taxes, and special teams getting an A from me.
Yeah, and I'm not going to nitpick, but the first couple Tom Eller punts were pretty short. So the fact that he came out there in his last 3 punts at 64, 60 plus yarder that he had and got his average above 40. I mean, his first couple were like 20 and 30 yards, I think. So he had some bombs after that. So he can't, I don't know what happened those first 2 kicks. But he was able to turn it around, didn't hurt us in the ball game. Same with Lucas. Those guys, they just did what they do. They showed up, they put on their hat, kicked the ball, and did it well. So I'm giving them an A as well. What about coaching? What do you give that grade for the coaches?
Well, it was good to actually see them make adjustments after halftime instead of just keep banging their head up against a tree and hoping it will fall. Um, they got creative. They had that play with the direct snap that was a handoff to Austin Reed, which was a handoff or a pitch to Malachi Corley, which he waltzed into the end zone untouched. So I'm going to give them an A because they did get a little creative, and granted, they did have to get away from the passing game and go lean more into the run game.
Yeah, if I was breaking it down by phases of the game, offensively would be dinged a little bit. I wouldn't give them an A. I'd give them a B minus. Defensively, Tyson Summers and that side of the ball, I'm giving them an A plus. Special teams, they did what they do. They're getting an A. So I would come out to an average of a B. Overall a decent game. Obviously, we're dying to see more consistency from the offense. That's been really the theme of the season. There's long lulls of not scoring points. There's just head scratching play calling. There's just not putting enough points on the board with the amount of players on that side of the ball that we returned. Quarterback that is headed towards the NFL draft, a wide receiver that's going to go to the NFL draft. Plenty of weapons on that side of the ball, and scoring 21 points is good enough to win this game, but it's not going to win enough games. And we've seen that with our 5-4 record now. So, I'm giving the coaches a B. I mean, I'm going to give them a pass because they won the game. If this was a loss, that's a C or below for me. But luckily, the defense and Elijah Young really stepped up to the plate and bailed them out. We got a much needed victory. We now move to 5-4 in the season. All the goals of the preseason are still in front of us. Bowl game, obviously, that's a bare minimum expectation. Half the teams in FBS make it to a bowl game. We're one win away from bowl game eligibility. If we beat our upcoming opponent for homecoming, New Mexico State, if we beat them, we're literally in the driver's seat for that rematch with Liberty as we come down to the final two games. So, really, everything's in front of us. This ball team, even as Jekyll and Hyde and as inconsistent and as what are you going to get from one half and one play and one game to the next? As inconsistent as they may be, they're still in control of where this season plays out and where they go and where they play. Um, so let's just enjoy this win. We've said basketball season now in front of us. Games started today. The volleyball team just won the regular season title. The Conference USA tournament should be coming up real soon, and obviously they're gonna look to win that again and get that auto bid to the NCAA tournament. Even if they don't get the auto bid, I mean their RPI is like 16. They're ranked number 23 in the nation. So they're going to the NCAA tournament. They're going to get an at-large bid if they don't win the Conference USA tournament. But we both know that they're going to win that tournament. They're going to get to the NCAA tournament. They're maybe host a game. We're going to cross our fingers with that RPI that they get a chance to host a game again and just make some noise. I mean, that's what Travis Hudson does. Another good group of players that are fun to watch. If you're not watching the WKU volleyball team, we had season tickets. My family and I did, and got to go. We went to almost every game this year. The volleyball games are the most fun sporting event at Western. They're not only our best program, our best team, our best coach. It's nonstop action at volleyball, and I'm not. You go to basketball, it gets boring. There's TV timeouts, media timeouts. You go to football, same thing. There's lulls in the game. Volleyball is nonstop action. They're literally the funnest program and funnest sport to watch. So definitely get out and support them. Conference USA Championship coming up, and now we, I guess, turn the page on this UTEP victory. Now we're going to look forward to New Mexico State coming up this Saturday. It's homecoming. Haven't looked at the weather yet, but I'm sure we'll be looking at that real soon with our special guest Hunter Lee, as always, when we do our preview of that game. But man, I'm excited, to get another win in football. Goals still in front of us. Winter sports kicking off. Man, it's a fun time on the hill. It's really that tops win, you win, we lit, baby. I say it a lot. We're doing a lot of that right now, and we need to keep doing it, to have those goals in front of us. So, really excited. Let's close the page on this game and look forward to the next one. Tyler, give us your final words and take us the heck out of here.
All right, so I did look ahead for New Mexico State tonight whenever I was on my way home. And we'll talk about this later, but a little bit of foreshadowing. I do hate their quarterback for more than one reason.
Mobile.
Very mobile. But we'll talk about that in a few days. It is great to see Western Kentucky volleyball, doing what they do, just win. Also, Marshall, suck. Maybe you win a few games. Maybe we'll try to think about scheduling you again, because right now it would absolutely do nothing for us to schedule you. MTSU, who knows what they're doing? I saw they won in basketball tonight, or they were winning. Can't wait to beat them later on in the season. I am excited for basketball season. I can't wait to get back in the diddle. I had to listen to the game tonight versus Kentucky Wesleyan. It was good to hear that we are playing great defense. A few names, it seemed like everyone got to play. Edeline, he seems like he's got that dog in him. Actually, a few players on this team sounds like they got that dog in them, and they just built different. Lutz is actually applying pressure, which is awesome, or defensive pressure, which is awesome to hear and to see. It's an exciting time to be a hill topper. A great teams to cheer on. We still got championships in front of us in football and in, of course, volleyball, and they're going to absolutely sweep run through that conference championship. And it's going to be awesome to cheer them on in the NCAA. So with that, I will say, Muff, who has it better than us?
Since 2011, at least, nobody.
Nobody, boy.
Go Tops.
Go Tops, y'all.
Later, guys.
See you.